You wake up, get out of bed, but it feels like something inside you is still asleep, and it's not tiredness, it's that strength that used to be natural, intense, and now seems distant when your body
doesn't respond like it used to. It
affects your confidence, your energy, everything. What many people don't know
is that there's a simple method that in
just 2 minutes can reignite that forgotten power, a quick natural stimulus that awakens your body with strength without relying on anything artificial. I'm Dr. Barbara Ricci, a urologist with over 15 years of experience, and today I'm going to show you how this technique works, why it's transforming the lives of thousands of men, and how you can also reactivate your masculine energy if you care about your virility, your performance, and your health after 50. Take this moment to subscribe to the channel. Here the videos are made especially for men who want to maintain their strength, confidence, and pleasure at their best. If this content resonated with you, hit the like button. It helps this channel reach other men facing the same challenges, and leave a comment. Type 1 if the topic caught your interest, or 0 if there's something you'd like to see done differently. Here, your participation keeps this space alive. Some men notice a change, but can't quite explain it. The desire is still there, but the body no longer follows the way it used to. That quick, firm, confident response becomes slower, harder, and sometimes doesn't happen at all. But this rarely happens all at once. It's a slow, almost invisible process that builds up over the years. At first, it's just a drop in enthusiasm, then arousal takes longer to show up, and over time the situation becomes more uncertain, more frustrating. Many try to ignore it, others think it's normal with age, but the truth is that this shutdown of masculine energy has a cause, and more importantly, it has a solution. The body doesn't fail without reason. It gives signals first, but most men are so caught up in work routines, exhaustion, and pressure that they don't notice the desire starts to fade, not because of lack of interest, but because the brain gets used to not being stimulated the right way. And when the right stimuli disappear, the brain assumes it no longer needs to respond so intensely. That's when many give up, but understanding this process is already the first step to change everything, because desire, contrary to what many believe, can be trained. When it comes to male desire, many people think it all comes down to testosterone, but the real conductor behind arousal is the brain. It's the brain that decides whether you'll feel desire or not, and within it, there's a powerful messenger called dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to pleasure, motivation, and interest. As the years go by, natural dopamine production can decrease, and that doesn't only affect your sex life, it affects your mood, your energy, even your desire to do everyday tasks. It's like everything loses its spark and becomes dull, and desire fades along with it. But it's not just age, chronic stress, too many responsibilities, poor sleep, and a lack of positive stimuli also reduce dopamine release. Without enough dopamine, even things that once brought pleasure start to feel meaningless. The key point here is that arousal starts in the brain, and when the brain is weakened, the body follows. That's why any effective technique must focus on the mind first. Reactivating dopamine is like reigniting a spark, and when that spark lights up, the body responds stronger and more naturally. Today, everything is fast, direct, and filled with ready-made images. With one click, the brain receives a flood of stimuli that used to take days or weeks to build up. That might seem convenient, but over time it has a silent effect. The brain gets lazy. If you want to go even deeper in this transformation and reclaim a more active, confident, and fulfilling intimate life, my digital book can be your next step in rediscovering intimacy, healthy sexuality after 60. I share practical guidance that expands everything we've discussed in this video, with specific strategies to strengthen desire, improve the body's response, and build deeper connection in your relationship. It's a straightforward guide made especially for men who refuse to accept declining libido, as just a normal part of aging. You'll find the link in the pinned comment. Click take your time reading and start applying it to your routine. Real change is within reach when a man gets used to receiving arousal too easily without imagination or real interaction. He loses the ability to create desire on his own. It's like a muscle that stops being used. It weakens what was once automatic, like getting excited from a touch or a romantic moment, starts to require stronger and stronger triggers to work. The problem is that these artificial stimuli aren't sustainable. They create short bursts of arousal followed by emotional emptiness. This drains dopamine, reduces interest, and creates apathy, like nothing feels good enough. It's a vicious cycle for many men. This directly affects their relationships. Real intimacy stops being exciting because the brain has been conditioned to unrealistic stimuli. Reversing this requires a new kind of stimulation, one that comes from within and reignites the natural capacity to feel desire without depending on external sources. There is a simple, fast, and powerful technique that's getting attention for one reason. It can awaken dormant desire in just 2 minutes a day. No pills, no devices, no products. The method is based on how the brain responds to targeted stimulation, especially at the beginning of the day, when the mind is in a more receptive state. Right after waking up, the brain enters a phase called the theta state. It's as if the mind is between sleep and wakefulness, more open to accepting commands, images, and sensations. That's precisely when the exercise is applied. The focus is on mentally building a stimulating scene, but with emotional involvement, like it's actually happening. The difference lies in the level of engagement. It's not just any kind of visualization done on autopilot. It's a mental training that requires presence, intention, and emotion. The more real the experience created in the mind, the greater the impact on the nervous system and the release of neurotransmitters linked to pleasure. This practice, besides being natural, respects the body's rhythm. It doesn't force desire, it simply awakens what already exists within each man, and over time this activation becomes stronger and more spontaneous. It all starts with 2 well-used minutes. The technique itself is simple. What truly makes the difference is when it's done. 2 minutes can go unnoticed during the day, but right after waking up, they carry a completely different weight. In that early morning moment, the body is still adjusting and the mind operates with less noise. There are no phone notifications, no rush, no distractions. It's a rare moment when the brain is calmer, more flexible. In this context, the exercise works almost like a direct command. It takes advantage of that transition from sleep to wakefulness to introduce positive sensations before the day begins demanding attention, effort, or worry. And that's valuable because the emotional state that dominates the first minutes of the day often spreads into the hours that follow. That's why those who incorporate this practice early in the day notice benefits that go beyond desire: greater mental clarity, more enthusiasm, and a feeling of lightness that follows throughout the day. It's not magic, it's biology. The freshly awakened mind hasn't shut down yet, and everything it absorbs during this time has a much deeper impact. Using this moment consciously is what makes the method so effective. One of the reasons many men give up on the practice is the false expectation of instant results. They try the exercise for 2 or 3 days, think nothing has changed, and stop. But the brain doesn't work like a switch. It responds to repetition. You have to teach, reinforce, and consolidate, and that takes time. Another common mistake is doing the exercise in a superficial way. Many just picture a quick scene without getting involved, like watching a movie with no sound. But what truly activates the desire circuit is emotional immersion. The brain needs to feel that it's real. And for that, you need to create details, involve the senses, and allow yourself to Feel if the exercise becomes an automatic gesture, it loses strength. The key is doing it with presence. 2 minutes aren't long, but they need to be full. The more realistic the imagined scene, the greater the release of neurotransmitters that awaken natural arousal. Those who understand this and stick to the practice even without rushing begin to notice small changes, more vivid thoughts, spontaneous reactions, a greater desire to connect, and gradually the brain relearns how to respond, not because it was forced but because it was trained. With consistency, that's what makes this exercise truly effective. Men who practice the method regularly usually notice subtle changes in the first few days. It's not something explosive or immediate, but a different sensation starts to emerge. The mind becomes more alert, certain thoughts feel sharper, and the body responds more easily to stimuli that once went unnoticed. As the brain is reconditioned, everyday situations start to spark interest again, a more intimate conversation, a longer touch, even a look that used to go unnoticed. This happens because the arousal circuits that were dormant start to reactivate. Another positive effect is the overall increase in energy. Many report more motivation for simple tasks, better focus at work, and even more patience in relationships. It's like the energy that was once blocked begins to flow again. This strengthens not only desire, but also self-confidence, emotional clarity, and mood balance, and all of this without relying on external solutions. What changes is how the brain is being stimulated. It starts recognizing pleasure signals again and responds with more intensity, creating a positive cycle that strengthens with practice. Small daily changes that over time turn into real transformations. After everything we've talked about, it's clear that masculine energy doesn't disappear with age. It just needs to be reactivated with the right stimulus at the right time. You've seen how the brain, when properly trained, begins to react with more vigor, more interest, and more pleasure. And the most interesting part, it doesn't require physical effort or medication, just 2 minutes a day with full attention. If you've made it this far, I want to know, have you ever tried a technique like this, and how did your body respond? Share it in the mall comments. Your experience might help other men going through the same thing. Don't forget to like this video. Your like is more than just
Support. It helps this content reach
other men who also need to recover their vitality. And if you want to keep learning how to maintain your power even after 50, this channel has more videos with practical, safe, and science-based tips. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you for being with me. See you in the next